So this is a question from a past CST test for the school certificate. So what it says, the spreadsheet was used to convert Australian dollars to other currency. A formula was used in cell C6, which is this one here, to convert 100 Australian dollars to euros. It was then filled down to C10. So what happens is it took the formula that's in C6 and then filled down to C10. So what formula was used? One of these options has to be correct. So what we're going to do is we're going to have a look at this actually on a spreadsheet. So first of all, what I'm going to do is it's obviously going to be equals this amount times this amount here. So B3 times B6. And all of those options there give you some format of B3 to B6. Now what we need to decide now is which one is the absolute reference and which one is the relative reference. So if it's relative, it's going to change based on where that answer is stored. So for example, on the next line, we actually want it to go to this one here, which is the green one because it's right underneath that one there. So the second reference here is going to be relative. We want this one to be absolute because we don't want that to change. So if I put in, I leave this as relative, so that's going to be normal, and this one we want to stay the same all the time because it's absolute. So let's think about it. If I put in, let's go from the bottom, that's definitely wrong because B6 is a relative reference and here it's put in as an absolute reference. Same thing with this one, it's an absolute reference there and we actually want B6 to be relative. This one here equals B3 times B6. So let's try this out because obviously this one here is an absolute value. So we're going to put a $ next to the B but not next to the 3. So if I enter now, works it out, that's fine, and I drag it down, I get some errors. Let's have a look at why that is. If I double click on here, what you'll see is that B7 has copied down correctly, which is what we wanted to, but here the absolute reference has only taken into account the reference for the row, sorry, the column, and not the cell, the row. Because what happened is we've put the $ next to the B, so it's saying the absolute column but not absolute row. So if I copy this, if I copy this across this, what's happening is that that's copied across and it's stayed in the same position because it's telling me to keep the absolute column. No matter if I copy it this way, however many, keep it in the same column. But if I copy it down, then move it down. So what we actually need to do is we need to make sure that there's a $ next to both the B and next to the 3. So if I copy that down now, okay, that correctly calculates. So the B can be an absolute column and a relative row, which is what this one here is. So the answer is A, an absolute column, an absolute row times a relative cell reference.